Hello there, welcome to my channel and my blog. We are crafted in his image. I'm here today with a 3D Thursday. I'm going to show you how to make this particular box. Now it looks like a simple gift box, however, when you open it, take the lid off, it has little flaps that fall down, and I have the motorcycle from the legendary ride in there and the little ride on It's Your Birthday. Now this piece here comes out so that you can write a little note, happy birthday, whatever you want to write on there. And this one comes out and it has a little pocket here to put a gift card, slide a little gift card in there for whoever the recipient is. So basically this box is a fancy way to give a gift card to somebody for their birthday, or this is actually the first birthday one I've made. I made a bunch of these for the holidays and sell them at craft shows. But this is the first one I've done that was for a birthday, and I thought I would share it with you so you can make them as well. I have done all of the stamping and all of the die cutting and embossing and all that stuff ahead of time, so that basically what this video is going to be is how to actually put together, cut and assemble the box itself. And yeah, so let's get started. And I apologize, I'm going to cough throughout this video. I'm allergic to Wisconsin, I think. And the more I talk, the more I cough. So I apologize. Anyway, we're going to pull out the arm on our paper trimmer here. And I'm going to score at 4 inches and 8 inches, going in both directions. So starting with the 4-inch here, make sure I have it on there. Give it a score, slide it over to the 8-inch, do the same thing, and then I'm going to turn this around and do the same thing in the other direction. So 4-inch and 8-inch, and basically what we're doing is we are dividing this 12 by 12 into 9 4-inch squares. There we go. So that part is done. However, we do need to do some cutting. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull this in here. It's a little template that I've drawn up, and I will have a picture of this with all of the dimensions over on the blog so you can see exactly where you want to cut. But I'm going to turn it this way. No, wait. Yeah. Let's go this way. This will make it easier. So I'm going to start by, all of the dotted lines are the scores, and then on some of those scores I'm going to go ahead and cut. So basically on this one here, I'm going to cut up to the score line, and on this one I'm going to do the same as well. So line up my score that I already have on here, and now I'm going to cut up to that line, and I'm going to slide it over and do the same thing. I have things in the way here. On this line. There we go. And then looking at my template again, I want to cut off this corner right here. So that is this corner. So now going from corner to corner, line those corners up inside the groove, slice that off. And so I have that part done, and now I'm going to rotate. And now I want to cut up this line and cut off this corner. And then again, I'm going to cut off the corner. Okay, so we have, let me see, make sure I have this right. This is this way. And now I'm going to turn. I've done that. I'm going to turn one more time. I don't have any, I need to cut this side. So I'm going to turn it this way because I need to cut up going in this direction right here. And again, going to cut off this corner right here. Whew, I wish I could do the videos without talking. There we go. Okay, so this is the base of our box. while I have out my paper trimmer, I'm going to go ahead and bring in the piece for our lid. This is an 8 1/8 inch square, and basically we're going to do the same thing on all 4 sides. First thing I'm going to do is some scoring at 1 inches and 2 inches on all 4 sides. But that really is 1 inch, 2 inch, 6 1/8, and 7 1/8. So do the 1 inch on. Let's pull this down so you can see. Is that at the 1 inch? Yes. 1 inch. Turn it around. So now I can line it up with the 2 inch. And then I'm going to go 6 1/8, which I know is right there. And then 7 1/8. And then do the same thing in the other direction. So 1 inch. Looking at it over on this side. Turn that around. 2 inch. 6 1/8. And 7 1/8. And basically it's 1 inch and 2 inches inside on all 4 edges. Okay, so now we need to do some trimming on this one, and for that I'm going to use my paper snips. It's just a little bit easier because I'm going to go on some angles, and I'm going to leave this here just so you can see. But basically on all 4 sides I'm going to go up, making a little tab here and cutting this section here off. So I'm going to go straight up on that line and then come in a little bit so to cut out a wedge. Now here's the line here. Let me grab my pencil so you can see. This is the score line on that one. I'm actually going to cut in on that score line like this. But then on this score line you want to go straight. Okay, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to rotate and do the same thing on all 4 of the sides. So, cutting off that little wedge just helps it to line up a little bit easier when you assemble. Try so hard not to cough. Not working though. Okay, I got one more side to do. There we go. Cutting it inside that. And then, there we go. Clear off my space. Okay, so that is this piece all ready to go. Now we'll go ahead and start assembling, putting things together. I am going to be using Stampin' Seal Plus for all of mine. I often will use the multi-purpose glue. However, I don't want to have to wait for it to dry, so I'm going to go ahead and use the Stampin' Seal Plus for all of this today. I have used, now on this one here, you'll notice, I don't know if you can even tell the difference. On this one I used the basic gray as my base and then smoky slate for all of these pieces. For this one I'm doing it the opposite, mostly because I ran out of 12 by 12 of my basic gray color, the darker of the gray. So we're going to flip-flop this, and I did not give this one the grungy look that I did on this. And to do this I simply used our blender brushes and my colors and just kind of put a little bit of the smoky slate and pecan pie all over these to give it that kind of a rustic kind of look on that background there. I just chose not to do that on this one. I have 2 here. I need the bigger of the 2. This one is for the inside. So this is going to go on here. I've already embossed this using this embossing folder, and I cannot remember the name of it, but again, we'll have a link to all of the products and stuff over on the blog. And I really love that embossing folder. It's a fun one to use. Okay, that did not work. There we go. Come on, there we go. A little bit across the middle there. And I'm going to center this in this middle square. And there's a tiny, tiny border. I think it's like 1/16 of an inch of a border around the edges of this. There we go. And find all my other little pieces. 1, 2, 3, and come here, come here. Oh my, 4, there we go. And I'm going to go ahead and turn them all upside down and put adhesive on all of them at once. Now because this is a box, it's going to be moved around. It's going to be open and closed. You want to make sure you get your adhesive on there. Okay, I am back. I'm sorry. The mailman dropped by, and so the dogs were very upset. And I figured I would stop and grab myself a cough drop and see if that helps a little bit with the coughing. But we're going to continue on here and get some adhesive on all of these little strips. Whew. I'll have all the dimensions for all of this over on the blog. That one's going to be a long one. But basically each of these has about 1/16 of an inch border around the edges. There we go. And one more. Now on my original one, I had stamped the motorcycle in the pecan pie, which by the way, these are the colors that I had used for this project. I have pecan pie, pretty peacock, basic gray, and some smoky slate going on. But anyway, I couldn't decide. Oh, yep, I think I do want the... Yeah, that one stands out better. So we're going to go with this one here. Let me grab some dimensionals. And here, and then I think we'll cut one of these in half so I can get one up in this area. There we go. Go ahead and take off my backings. And I wanted to go ahead and put this on now before I assemble the box lid. There we go. And now we can go ahead and put this together. And you're just going to fold up on the score lines. There is a score line right here on this tab. You do not need to fold on that one, but you do want to fold on the base one. And technically I could have cut that off right there, but really leaving it long gives it a little bit more support to the lid. So I just leave it on there. And now all I need is a little bit of adhesive on the end of each of these long flaps. So make sure your tab is in. Bring this up and fold it over. And then just continue doing that all the way around, making sure that this corner is nice and straight right here. Easy peasy. There's our lid finished. Ready to go. Set that aside. And let me bring our base back in. I have some pieces to glue onto this. Now I want the two flaps on this side here. So that means this is going to go this direction and this one's going to go this direction. So that shows me that this is our back side. And here I have some pattern paper that I made. This one happens to be using our watercolor paper. And if you want to know how I did this technique and got this image, go and check out my blog, the Technique Tuesday. That was E is for embossing, and that I followed that exact same technique to make these pieces of paper, and I'll put a link to that in the description box. But I'm checking that this one is smaller. This one I need to set aside. So these are going to get adhered onto this. And because this is a box, I am going to try and make sure I get adhesive all on the edges so that the edges don't lift at all. Let me go ahead and adhere 2 of these before I keep going so I don't stick them everywhere. So we want one here on this panel. I have one that goes on this panel. Actually, it's easier for me if I have it like this. I think, yeah, there we go. Okay, and then this part I want, let me put these up so you can see real quick. There's 2 ways you can do this particular part. You can fold this up and have this glued this way, but I don't like having this extra seam right here, so I prefer to have this one up on the inside and glue this in like that. So that means I want these 2 panels here to have my pattern paper on it. So that is the 2 pieces that are next to each other, rather than putting one on this piece here. Come here. I feel the sticky. There it is. I have one stuck to my finger. I really love this grungy look. I think it's just really cool looking. Okay, so I'm going to turn this way again. Put this one down here. And then this one goes on here. Whoops, got some stickies sticking out. Okay, now that side is ready. Now we got to do a little bit on this side. And for that I need to grab my tear and tape. You can use liquid glue for this. I'm going to use tear and tape again so I don't have to wait for it to dry. But this piece here, this one I want to go in first. So I'm going to go ahead and put adhesive across the base of that. Tear and tape there. And then fold this over. And you do want to check to make sure when you lift it up that it's going to lift up straight. Occasionally this panel here has, if you cut it wrong on the score line, if you get a little bit too far over to that side, this will be too big and it makes it harder to lift up and you may have to trim a little bit. So check that first. And then this one here is going to go down here. I'm going to put the adhesive on this flap, but then I'm also going to, come here pencil, mark right there because I also want a little bit of adhesive in this area here. So I'm just going to use tear and tape, or the Stampin' Seal Plus for this part, maybe. There we go. And tear that off and close it down. So there is our pocket for there, and then I want the tear and tape to go across this. And I'm actually going to put it on here, that way you don't accidentally end up with some adhesive sticking out. And you do want to get this as close to the edge as possible so that you have plenty of room for your paper to go inside there, your little pocket. And again, I want to lift up, make sure it's going to lift okay. There we go. Okay, so that's that part. Now we can go ahead and put some of our little panels that we've done. Now this panel here is a little bit smaller than these were. And again, I'll have the dimensions for that, but we're going to go ahead and cut that into triangles, into 2 triangles. Oops, that's the score blade. I want the cut blade. There we go. And then I have one of these already cut to go. And get some adhesive on here. Make sure none of my adhesive is sticking out. And this one goes right up against the cut edge there, but leave a border here and here. Then this piece, might be easier to do if I didn't have it on top of the project. Goes here. It has a little border around it. Oh, some of my sticky is sticking out there. You can see the shiny. There we go. And then this one. That cough drop seems to have helped a little bit. I don't feel the tickle down in my chest as much. This one goes over here. There we go. And now I want adhesive on this panel, the corner panel. Definitely want it right along that edge. I'm going to lift this up, make sure that this is right in this corner here, and then close that onto it. There we go. Give it a good firm press, make sure that's really well adhered. And now this panel here, I have already pre-colored, as you can see. I used the blending brushes and I blended the pecan pie color up the bottom section here. Then I did Pretty Peacock on the whole thing. And then across this top area, I did a little bit of the basic gray. I was kind of wanting that stormy sky look to it. And then I used this little stamp here and I just stamped it multiple times across the bottom to make it look like, you know, rocks and grass and things like that in the background. So I have a score line already on here. I am going to, when I did my original one, if you can see this right here, I don't know if you can see very well in the camera, but the tab that's holding this on, you can see it right here. So I want to see if there's a way to do it so that it can tuck behind this without it being too much of a pain. So I'm going to go ahead and score this. I'm just going to score it. Really only need about half. I'll do about 3/4 of an inch for a score on that. I'm going to hold it here just to see where I need to do the other score line. So that's going to go behind that. You can kind of see the method to my madness on how I actually design and do these projects. A lot of times it's just holding it up and then marking and measuring and seeing where that's at. So that looks like it would be around 5.5 inches. Yeah. So I'm going to give that another score right there. And I can trim off a little bit of this. We don't need that much on there. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and put adhesive on the back of this. Really want to get some across the top. And then at the either side of that seam. And then you can put some across the bottom as well. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and take this piece, put a little bit of adhesive on there, make sure it's got some adhesive on it. And I'm going to stick it to the back side of the bottom, like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and put this inside here. Oh wait, before I do that, let me put my bottom panel on. And I have found this bottom panel is a little bit short, but rather than putting an even border all the way around, I like to push it all the way back into this corner. That way there's plenty of room for these to lift up without this causing any issues there. So I just kind of push it all the way to the back. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to bring this in, keeping this folded so that this side's not going to stick. I just want that side to stick. I'm going to put it all the way into the corner and then go ahead and lay that down, trying not to let the other part stick. And actually I could have put the adhesive on here and not put it on here until now, because see, I can actually lay this down and I could put adhesive on it right now. But I'm going to go ahead and take this little tab here and do the same thing that I did on the other one. And I'm going to go ahead and stick that on there right at the bottom. And then close that up and adhere it really well. There we go. I like that much better. Now you can't see those tabs. They're hidden back inside there. Alright, so now I have my motorcycle, which I have already die cut and glued all the pieces together, and it's just going to go right on here. And actually what I'm going to do, because I should have done this before I glued that on there, I know that I want it to go, or that I don't want adhesive above this strip of paper. So I'm just kind of marking so I know that 1/2 inch, I don't want the adhesive to go above that. So make sure, put a little bit on here, then I'm going to push all these extra pieces back inside there. And again, you could use your liquid adhesive for this, but then you're going to need to find a way to actually hold it on there so that it doesn't come apart. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this on. I know you can't really see what I'm doing from there. And I'm just adhering it to that little strip there. There we go. Maybe I put it this way. You guys have a lot of shadows going on. Okay, let me lay it like that. Now I have this piece that has already been gotten ready. Where is my... Oh, there it is. There it is. The Ride On It's Your Birthday. I'm going to go ahead and adhere that to the middle. One, two, three. And this is going to go, well, here. There's the center line. That'll help me to make sure I have it pretty much in the middle. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to use tear and tape on either edge. So let me put this piece here, this piece here, and then just removing the tape from one side. I'm going to take it from this side first. Bring this back in here. I'm going to lay this right at the edge of the pattern paper, making sure that I'm level with the top. There we go. And then I'm going to take this off of here and do the same thing on that side. So you can see how that, I'm trying to get good lighting here so you guys can see. It seems to be all in shadows. Hold on. I don't know if you can see that any better. Let me turn it, maybe if I turn it this way. Ah, there we go. Upside down. So there's the main part. Now we need to do the little inserts for these two panels here. Now those measurements I will not actually have on the blog because you kind of have to do it based on what your adhesive was that you used right here. Now I have a strip of paper and it is 3 7/8 inch wide, so I have the width correct. But because depending on where your adhesive is down here, it'll determine how far your little piece can actually go down into that pocket. So I'm going to actually just slide it in here as far down as I can get it to go. And then I'm going to mark right there. So I can see that I have about the same border as I have on this side on there. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that one. I guess I do have one bit of stamping to do on this. So there's that piece. And now this one, before I go any further, this is the same width. I'm going to go ahead and give myself about a 1/2 inch. No, I think I did 3/4 of it. 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to score. Don't go too far. Then I'm going to fold this up and tuck it in here. Okay, and then you're just going to slide this in as far as you can get it to go. And then again, just use your pencil, kind of eyeball where you want to cut it so that you have a little bit of a border there. I'm going to pull this over, trim that off. And then I have already somewhere, I hope it's still in here. Oh, there he is, there he is. I've already cut, or stamped and cut the little wrench out. And for him, I'm going to use a piece of, oh, looks like I might need to order some more. Oh, haha. Oh, just the right size. Perfect. Looks like it was made for it. There we go. This is our adhesive foam strips. And so that gives you a little bit of a handle to grab onto. Whoops, let me go ahead and slide this in to make it a little easier. For sliding this thing in and out, especially out. In's not too difficult. Actually, sometimes to get it in the first time, I like to, there we go, use something to give it a push. Ooh, don't push it too hard though. There we go. And then putting this on with a little bit of a dimensional kind of gives you a little bit of something to grab to pull it in and out. Makes it a little bit easier. Pull it out anyway. Pulling in just, there we go. Okay, so then the last thing to do, I'm going to go ahead and stick this back in here. Do I have it the right width? Yep. And I'm going to pull out the small motorcycle from the Legendary Ride set. Or you could even put this one that says "You Are Legendary." I think that would also be really cool to go right there. I don't know if they could both fit. I suppose I could see. Let's check it out. Let's figure this out. Stamp this on here. Alright, and then I think what I will do actually is, will that fit on there? Yes. I'm going to very lightly mark with a pencil right here. I'm going to pull that out, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to actually stamp this above that line so that when you pull the card out, when you pull this part out, then you see that. Of course, now I need to erase my pencil mark though. Grab my eraser here. And there we have. Oh, I smeared the black ink. I got it on my finger. Smeared it. Oh. There we go. Slide that in. And there we have the finished project, finished box. So here's this one. I actually think I like this better. This one here, I think the lid and the sides are almost too close in shade and coloring. Whereas this one, this obviously stands out much. There's a bigger contrast between the top and bottom as compared to this one and this one. But I don't know, which one do you like better? Which one do you think? I really love the grungy look. I love the motorcycles. I love this stamp set, and it's just kind of a really fun project that you could give to somebody as a birthday, especially for that person that you have no idea what to give to. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this 3D Thursday, and until next time, God's love and blessings to you. Bye!